I just bought this GU ute off Marketplace dirt cheap, and I'm gonna turn it into what I think is the ultimate 4B. But the more I look, the more problems I find. This car mightn't be what I thought it could be. Maybe I've made a big mistake. I reckon it's turned into a bit of a stitch up already. This car looks nothing like the Facebook ad. You sure this thing's gonna go? I'm on my way to go and look at a Marketplace bargain. I want to do a bit more of a budget build this year. I did a pretty expensive one last year with my BMW GU. I found myself a GU Patrol ute with a TD4.2 in it. Those things are super tough. Now, they're not very fast, but tough, reliable, and pretty bush-proof. The owner's told me to bring a battery along and some diesel. I've got a jerry can in the back. I've got a battery in the back too, and I chucked in some tools. Let's go and have a look. How's it going, mate?
How you going, Jesse, is it?
Yeah, Jesse.
Chris, mate, how
nice
are
to meet you. You got the trusty old GU for sale.
Here she is here, mate.
So what's the go? No bonnet? It's been sitting here for a while?
It's probably actually been a couple of years. I won't lie. It's been a couple of years, I reckon.
Would you mind if I see if I could get it running before I hand over any cash?
No worries at all, mate. No worries at all.
Tell you what, I reckon it's turned into a bit of a stitch up already. This car looks nothing like the Facebook ad. There was one photo, it looked pretty tidy. This thing is really banged up. It's got no bonnet. Let's get stuck in and see if we can get this thing fired over. There's a few wires around here. Did you do all this wiring yourself?
No, mate, no, not me. That was already on there. Looks like it's pretty good, though.
So you're pretty confident this thing is a good runner?
I can't see why I wouldn't, mate. Any reason why I wouldn't. It was fine before. So.
All right, then. We'll give it a go. You sure this thing's going to go?
Yeah, it should. It's run fine. You sure that battery's okay?
I reckon the battery's all right, yeah. It seems to be cranking over quick. Well, this hose here is a bit loose.
Give it another go. It's got to be, should be fine.
All right, I'll see. That's a lot stiffer now, that's not loose. Oh! He's running a little bit rough.
Oh, no, it must have stepped up and it'll be right.
I don't know if it's fuel, it's a bit smoky out the back there.
Oh, it wasn't like that last time, it used to run fine.
And you drove it in here, you reckon?
Yeah, is that good fuel you put in it, or is that?
Oh, that's just whatever's in the tank. Like, it seems idle okay, but as soon as I rev it, it just doesn't want to rev up.
No, it used to run fine.
I'm not sure.
No, it's fine, just needs a good run.
A good run, you reckon?
Yeah. Good run.
It's not running the best and it's really smoky, but I really want to try and get this thing running because the price he's got this thing up for is unbelievable. So I've got a jerry can here and a bit of fuel hose, and we're just going to try get it running off the jerry can. That's sounding a bit better on some new fuel. I'll give it a rev.
He's up.
I haven't paid him yet, he doesn't want me to rev it that much. Mate, I'm frothing. I didn't think I'd be able to find a GU for under 8 grand. This is a steal. No, well, we're still gonna find a bonnet. Where's the bonnet? You got a bonnet you can throw in? Doesn't have to be matching. I'm probably gonna paint the car. Like, what do you?
Oh, I think the only bonnet I've got spared, I could probably throw in white.
I'll take it. We are on the road in the GU. So far it's driving pretty well, but I'm noticing some more things. The gear knob it's a skull and it's falling off. The sun visor's just fallen down as I went to use it. So I think I've got myself a bit of a project, but I bought this thing because I want to make a bush-proof all-rounder. And I'll tell you what, this thing is going to be exactly that after I put a little bit of elbow grease into it. What do you do when you first buy a car and you're Jesse? You go straight to the bush and test it out. Obviously this thing on the outside, I don't think there's a straight panel on it. This bonnet that old mate threw in, it's probably the straightest panel on it, but you've got things like this. The roof is very dinted. There's tech screws to the roof holding a solar panel on. The guards are dinged in. There's just random things like this. There's USB points everywhere. Down the back here, it gets really, really funky though. There is a vise on the back. There's actually a crane on here for lifting stuff on if I get some big loads of firewood maybe. And a battery with a dog chain holding it down, just sitting on there. Right now, some of you are probably shaking your head. Well, let me show you exactly why I bought this thing. One thing I like to do is take it off-road and test it when it's standard. I didn't think it'd be that hard. One of the main reasons I bought an older four-wheel drive is you can drive it a little bit harder on tracks like that, knowing it's not going to break. If that was a new modern dual cab, there's not a chance I would have been able to drive it that hard. under the bonnet here. It is an old diesel. None of this common rail, no injection stuff, no sensors, no heaps of 12-volt stuff for it to run, just old school mechanical injection. Now, another cool thing about these old engines is, compared to the new ones, is they've got a different belt for each accessory. So, you know, you can lose an accessory or have a problem and keep on going without these things. It doesn't need everything connected like the modern four-wheel drives do. So right now, what I'm gonna do is simulate me blowing a power steering hose, or even just losing a power steering belt, just to prove to you guys that if you're in the bush and this happens, you can continue on. Yeah, it will be a bit harder to steer, but you know you can get out of the tracks, back to town where you can get yourself a new belt or a new power steering hose. I'm making forward progress, which is a good thing. Some of these more modern four-wheel drives that we've got these days, we've got electronic steering racks. I know last year in Cape York, we had a Ford Ranger with us. Electronic steering rack had a fault in it, the plug got water in it. The steering just locks up, you can't steer at all, which is no good when you're off-road, because how many of the four-wheel drive trucks you go on are straight? Obviously you can see there's a lot more steering feedback here, and it's really hard to steer side to side, but I'm still making forward progress, which is great. These old cars are so simple. They're great to learn on, you know. If I bought a more expensive vehicle, maybe even had a loan on it, I'd be scared to work on it, but this thing picked up so cheap, I'll be able to learn a heap if this is my first four-wheel drive. Mud means money. It's gonna break some stuff, but that is where these old cars come into their own. If I got stuck in there and sunk this car up to the seats, I wouldn't be worried. It's not that modern. There's not gonna be any computers or electrics that are gonna go underwater and stop the car from running. And under the engine bay, the next problem can be an alternator. Now, some of these modern cars, if they do drop an alternator, last year in Cape, we saw a Ford Ranger drop an alternator. I think we got about 5 Ks. Shauna's old 80 series did an alternator in Tassie, and he drove about 2 hours back into town because they use that little power. So I'm gonna unplug my alternator, put the battery light in the dash to simulate this alternator being kaput and me just running off the battery for a little bit longer. As I said before, these older cars can run for a fair while on the battery. These diesels do need a little bit of 12-volt to run. They've got a fuel cut-off solenoid. Now, if I was really stuck in the bush and didn't have any battery power, you can actually pull them apart and make them flow through. But for now, I'm gonna pull this main car battery out and show you guys a little trick. As I said, you do need a little bit of 12-volt. So what I've got here is I've just got 2 wires, and most people are gonna be carrying this in their cars on an adventure these days. A cordless battery, whether it be for your chainsaw, your impact driver, anything like that. 1 wire needs positive power. So I've got this here and I've just crimped it down. What you do here is on the injector pump, there'll be a plug on the back here. You get that on there, yep, and she's on there good. These batteries have a positive and a negative, so I'll poke this into the positive side right there, and the negative side here, that has got to be earthed to the vehicle somewhere. So I'm just going to undo this bolt here and earth that to the vehicle, poke that into the other side, and what this will do is give that fuel shut-off solenoid power, therefore it'll open up and let fuel through. You're thinking, how am I going to start the car with no battery in it though? That's where the beauty of an old school manual comes in. I'm going to give it a good old fashioned roll start and show you guys just how good an old four-wheel drive is. How good is that? I think this is going to be the ultimate adventure rig. I've got some wild trips planned for this thing. There's going to be mud over the bonnet, fair chance mud and water over the seats on the inside, but I know that no matter how many parts I break, there is a fair chance I can limp this thing back out to a town and get some spare parts. And of course, when you get a brand new car, you bring it home and chuck it up on the hoist. Under here, she looks dirty and stuff, but it just needs a good wash and a bit of a touch up, to be honest. She's in relatively good nick. There's no structural rust. Gearbox is good. Engine is mint. As I said, these things are expensive. We got this thing really cheap. The bull bar here, she's a bit on the piss, some would say. That doesn't matter, because I've got some pretty cool ideas for the front of this car that I'm not gonna leak just yet, eh? Look at this. This door, immaculate. That section, immaculate. Everything else in the car, totally ruined. And I think that's the section I might put in his marketplace ad, because it looked mint and I got there and I was like, makes sense on the price though. This guard, no good. Bonnet, he threw in a white one. It looks so weird. How many bolts would you bolt if you couldn't bolt, bolt, bolt? Camera, yeah, it's got a reverse camera. Modern cars normally have that, old cars have that too. Don't you worry. Look at this, not 1 trailer plug, but 2. That's fancy, I don't care what you guys say. I bet you've never seen this before. These mud flaps. That's not rubber, that's carpet. Yeah, carpet. There's one bit I actually like over here, this is handy, I've used it before. It's this, look at this. It's like a homemade little step. It's noisy as all get out when you're driving down the road, but put your foot there, handle up there. So easy to get onto the tray. The more I look, the more good things I find. This thing, keep saying it might look like much now, but it's gonna be good, and I've got confidence it's gonna get me home every time. What a crazy day. This morning I found this thing on Marketplace, went over to the fella's house, we were down in his backyard trying to crank this thing over, smoke and stuff flying at the back. I got it running smoothly off a jerry can, then took it out for a bit of a torture test, obviously as you guys saw, to show you a couple of reasons why I bought an older four-wheel drive. Believe it or not, today is Friday, and on this coming Monday, this thing is going on its first trip. Some of you are probably thinking, Jesse, you're crazy, this thing, it's not a good nick, but some of you can probably see the vision I can. I want to take this thing and do some wild stuff this year. I want to take it down to Vic, do a bit of high country, and I want to take it to Tassie and tackle some of that Tassie mud. I've got some big plans. Obviously, the body, looks-wise, I've been calling this thing Mater because I reckon it looks like Mater of cars, but that is soon going to change. I'm going to do a full respray. What do you guys reckon though? Do you reckon I should paint it the same colour or change the colour? I'm thinking about changing the colour. I've got an idea, but I'm interested to see what colour you guys, I reckon I should paint it. Chuck that in the comments below, and also I want you guys to chuck in the comments below. Do you think I'm a bit mad for buying a car in this condition and that old to do what I want to do? Or do you think it's a good idea and can you see the vision that I can see? Anyway, for now, I'm going to have to get stuck into this thing. I think I've got to change the winch too. That's not working. I've got to change the suspension, do a service, change the tyres. I've got a lot of jobs to do. I'm going to get stuck in.
We really need to get out of here. This is loose. This is proper loose.
Oh my God!
We just bought 2 dirt cheap backpacker rigs to try and get them thousands of kilometres through the Simpson Desert to one of the most remote pubs in the world. With constant breakages, wild bush fixes and extreme conditions, we push these cars well past their limits.
That's put to the floor in low range.
Dude, there's like 800 dunes left.
Even the locals weren't expecting any rain, but somehow we ended up caught in the worst flooding in over 50 years.
Keep going, please.